Who believes the internet will black out for a time? Okay, good set. MashaAllah, mate. What about you?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I wonder if the people believe there's going to be a blackout. No more TikTok, no more Facebook, no more YouTube, no more internet, no more emails. So there'll come a time when communication won't exist in technology. If it does, it will exist in primitive technology. Could be two ways, walkie-talkies, analog, and so forth, where they can still use the radio waves. The fitnah that the Prophet now mentioned is tribulation and trials, which is the trial when darkness blankets the nations. He didn't mention just the Muslimin. Sayyidina Muhammad says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا تدعوا أحدا من هذه الأمة إلا لطمته لطمة. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this darkness will not appear except it will not leave anybody, except it will strike him with a strike, like the snake strikes when it releases its poison. Everyone, every nation will be afflicted with this strike. Now, what's so profound about this hadith in light of our time? He mentions it as a darkness, extreme ظلمات, darkness upon darkness. Now, sometimes when we cease to communicate with one another, there's a saying where we understand long time ago that we have fallen into darkness. We have fallen into darkness with no communication. Now, how do we communicate in our time and age? Phones, social media, internet. We even sometimes sad to say we learn the religion over the internet. We would mention some sort of events throughout the lessons in the past lessons. Now, what's so profound about this duhaymaء is that in our time, we are disconnected if there's no more internet, right? You all know this. Now, what's happening now with social media? The people on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the likes. We mentioned before, and this is by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before this ban on TikTok happened, that TikTok is going to go dark. Allahu Akbar. Duhaymaء. Now we're saying the Prophet is prophesizing darkness, but it's not darkness that there's no more sun. It's a darkness of communication and reaching or receiving information from beyond the screen, from different countries and so forth. Not to take too much of your time, we'll get to the gist of this sermon, inshallah ta'ala. Now, what's happening in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Africa, in India, in Asia, where there's a lot of oppression happening. A lot of oppression is happening. Now, the tyrant cannot go through with his oppression comfortably as long there are people filming. And once the people know this, they will start to speak out about this oppression. And it slows down their goal, their demolition, their genocide. So what they're trying to do, it's beginning now. They're blanketing social media. Now, with the internet cease to exist forever from now, we say no, and Allah knows best. But there will be little potholes on the way. Severe blackouts in countries, in towns, internet dies out. And then it's rebooted. Then you get your internet back. Sometimes the whole country is blacked out. no information, no news. Now what they want to do now is, for a temporary time, they want to blind you from seeing what's happening overseas while you're in this country and other countries. Once you are blinded for a few days, a few weeks, what's going to happen? Internet will come back. Then when you go back to your country, you don't find the Lebanon that you left and have known. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, in Africa, in Asia, in Palestine. Maybe, just maybe now, we won't have any information, new information what's happening from Gaza and Palestine. And all of a sudden, when the power comes back on, what are we going to see? We're going to see the achievement of the tyrant. Because no one was filming for anyone to cry out to stop them. Their genocide now is rolling like a wheel rolls downhill. They will start to perform their goal. Genocide will happen once again. Don't believe this ceasefire. They've already broken the treaty. But how are they going to keep on going with this? Is when the time of darkness will hit us. Now why am I mentioning this? Because there will come a time, in the time of the Mahdi, will be no more technology at all. And we don't want to take too long. We'll mention the signs of the Muslims in Constantinople, when it will be victorious once again with takbirat. And then a crier will come and he will say, the Antichrist is amongst your family in Damascus, where the Mahdi is at that time, or in Palestine. For the people from, now known as Istanbul, it is said that they will rush back home. They will rush back home. It didn't say that they will have ittisal. It didn't say they will have communication or connect. But if there was technology, that or the similarity of that ittisal would have been in the prophecy of Sayyidina Rasulullah. But he said they'll rush back home. So when they get to the area where the Antichrist should be, end up being the cry was a false cry. Then another cry will come out and will say the Antichrist is amongst your family. For the leader at that time, the Mahdi, will send out 10 horse riders. They'll be the best horse riders at that time. And the Prophet said, sallallahu, alayhi, I know the color of their horses, and I know the names of the riders, and I know the names of the fathers of the riders. Then they'll rush back to the town and come back. They will come back and inform the leader that now the news is true. So there'll come a time when communication won't exist in technology. If it does, it will exist in primitive technology. Could be two ways, walkie-talkies, analog, and so forth, where they can still use the radio waves. Where they can still use that. So we're saying now, before it's too late, before there's no more internet where we can sit at home and socialize over the media. Come back to the masajid. Come back, recondition yourself to receive the true knowledge from the houses of Allah. Because if we do not get used to it now, before the darkness blankets us completely, then we might fall into depression, anxiety, and God forbid, suicidal thoughts. Some people, when they want to wean their children off the internet and so forth, how does your child react? It's like a junkie going into rehab. He will start acting weird, saying weird things, chucking tantrums, and so forth. So start to wean yourselves and our families, not by taking it away from them, but give it a pause and come to the masajid. Come to the lessons in your local area. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of the ones who are saved from this darkness, this blanket of darkness and oppression إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.